Flutes here with Flutes Loot. We're here to talk about a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition concept today that I thought of. It's really simple. It's a rogue on a horse. I know it sounds simple, basic, but it's simply beautiful when I looked into it. I liked just the sound of it, but when I looked at it mechanically, it works. It's not going to be just a gimmick. Mounts aren't just for paladins and rangers to like lance and bow from. There's a lot of uses for mounts, and rogue can take great advantage of them. So let's get into it. So picture this. Suddenly, a woman on horseback emerges from a circle of juniper trees around a bandit camp, darting through and weaving through the bandits like a serpent through stones. She plows through and finds a child that has been taken captive next to their campfire, plucks it up, saves the child, puts it on the back of the horse, and rides off before anyone can react. Blazes! What was that? That's the kind of rogue I'm picturing today. First of all, I recommend taking a background, either folk hero or soldier, so that you can get proficiency with land vehicles. That'll help if your mount wants to pull carriages, sleds, wagons, anything. They're much stronger than you are. So when D&D 5th edition was created, they wanted to know, like, what should we do for mount rules? And so they looked to inspiration from Patches O'Houlihan and his 5 Ds of dodgeball, which are dodge, dip, dive, duck, and dodge. Maybe not in that order, but those are the 5. D&D decided to simplify those down to disengage, dash, and dodge. That's what mounts can do while sharing your turn and initiative, in addition to their movement. If mounts are smart, like higher than 4 intelligence, they can take their own turn and initiative and act independently, which frees them up to do more, but they might get a little bit more wild with what they do, and it might not be what you want them to do. So a common question that comes up is, if my mount moves away from someone, can they opportunity attack me because just my mount disengaged, but I did not? But Jeremy Crawford has clarified, and it makes sense, that your mount, let's say your horse, is moving away with you, like a forced movement, and no one can opportunity attack you when you are forced to move. So the horse disengages and rides away, and you're able to save your own actions and bonus actions without having to disengage. Very nice. This enables you to do a lot of things based on kiting. You can get in and out to attack someone melee, or you can use a bow from range or a crossbow, anything. Don't think that you're invincible, though, because even though you're faster, your opponent can see what you're doing, and next time you charge in for a melee attack, they can ready an action to attack you when you get close, and then they don't rely on opportunity attacks, and disengage won't help you there. A basic mount to look at is the war horse with a movement of 60 feet. That's double what your starting movement probably is, depending on race and maybe some of your class features. But 60 feet of movement is a lot without dashing. So you get a free disengage, basically, because your mount can disengage for you, and your movement is that of, like, if you're dashing. That's incredible. Now, the reason most people don't do mounts in D&D is it's upkeep, and it's something to keep track of. Not a lot of people like having an animal companion, especially one that they have to like feed and find a place to park it while they're doing things. They can't really participate in dungeons if it's a tight space, and even if it's not a tight space, maybe you don't want to take your mount there anyway. It just creates a target. And bringing it into combat, they're usually less sturdy and hardy than your actual character, and so it's easy for them to get taken out by tactical shots. But you can mitigate that a little bit by barding, which is creating armor that is expensive, admittedly, for your mount. A lot of people complain about D&D 5th edition not having great ways to spend your wealth, and so investing in a well-trained mount that is protected by barded armor will really help you out. At higher levels, rogues will also have reliable talent, so that they can roll a minimum of 10 on their animal handling checks. That'll be really great, especially if you have expertise. That'll really keep you from messing up. It'll keep you from falling. It'll keep you from failing to train a new animal. You'll be in good shape. Additionally, rogues do like to occasionally kife things, swipe them from people. And if you're trying to steal something large, or like the example I gave, rescue a small child, rogues aren't always that strong, but your horse is very strong. They'll be able to carry things for you. If you put a bag of holding as like the saddlebag, even better. Beyond horses, there are many creatures that have the proper anatomy for being a mount and the proper size. Obviously, if you're a gnome or a halfling, you're a small size, so you only need a medium-sized creature. While as if you are a medium-sized creature, you need something large, like a horse. Or a giant owl. Giant owls have flying speed in addition to being very fast, and they have a flyby ability that makes it so they don't even have to disengage when they're flying by someone. I don't think that would apply to you. Maybe your DM would allow that too. They might have to disengage to keep you out of trouble. They're also intelligent enough, like I mentioned earlier, to have their own turn in initiative. They have an intelligence of 8. And obviously there is a feat called Mounted Combatant that doesn't get taken very often because mounts aren't very popular. But it'll enable you to get advantage on creatures that are smaller than your mount, which means you can possibly secure sneak attack. Plus, you've got your mount next to you and your whatever you're attacking melee. So you have that ally nearby that you need to get sneak attack if you don't have advantage. So that's 2 different ways that you can secure sneak attack when you're on a mount. Plus, Mounted Combatant allows your mount to get a similar evasion ability where they can not die from their dex saves if they're like in the middle of a fireball, similar to you as the rogue. So just picture there's a big explosion, and before the dust settles, you and your horse come riding out from the dust, unscathed or close to it. Rogues can work well with mounts for this reason. So let's talk about what kind of rogue you want to be. There's a few different synergies to consider, some of them better than others. Let's just go down the line alphabetically. Arcane Trickster, you have a spectral hand that you could have it like grip onto your arm so that it can keep up with you as you're riding on your mount instead of just falling behind it. It's like 30 speed or whatever, floating around like Master Hand in Smash Brothers. And then you can use your bonus action to have it distract whatever you're attacking as you ride up with your horse. It's not the best, but it's okay. And then your Arcane Trickster spells will enable you to do some cool things with your mount, including give it the jump spell, haste, fly, and spider climb. You could be a spider horse, or if you have a giant pig, you could literally make Spider Pig from the Simpsons movie. If you're an assassin, not a direct synergy with your abilities, but it is still cool to picture an assassin riding through on a horse quickly through a crowd of people and like decapitating or doing some kind of surgical strike on somebody, and then getting out before anyone can react. Inquisitive rogues have an ability called Eye for Detail where they can kind of like size up somebody in a battlefield. So picture you're like this rogue overseeing the battlefield like some Napoleon, and you just like spot like the biggest threat on the battlefield and you like size them up, and you'll get advantage and sneak attack on them basically, as you can like single them out and then ride into battle and try to control the battlefield, take out that prime target. Mastermind rogues have 2 synergistic abilities with mounts. One is they have Master of Tactics, where they can use a bonus action, their cunning action, to use the help action from 30 feet away instead of from being adjacent. So you, anywhere on the battlefield, you can stay mobile while calling the shots like a commander in a battlefield. You can keep all your allies doing well by giving them an advantage on attacks, and all the while you're still mobile because your mount can disengage and move around at great speeds for you. Very cool. In addition, if you don't value your mount, if it's expendable, you could dismount it and use it for cover, and then you could use your misdirection feature that allows you to, when an attack is coming at you and you have cover from a creature, you can make that attack target the creature that's giving you cover instead. So if your mount is expendable, or if it's a very dire situation, you could do that. Scout rogues don't have a ton of synergy, but it is thematically delicious. The scout is someone you picture being out in the wilderness, gaining information and getting back quickly to pass on that information of what's going on. And so a scout with a horse or any sort of fast mount can keep the rogue from getting tired while they gather information. And at level 17, the scout rogue does get the ability to attack 2 different people and get sneak attack on both of them. And so a mount would enable you that mobility to get between people and utilize that ability without having to rely on a bow or something like that. Plus, you can get expertise in some nature-y abilities. It thematically works with some slight mechanical synergy. Swashbuckler's sneak attack and everything is good on its own. That's how it's designed. But if you have a mount, you can use your elegant maneuver ability very well, like a trick rider. You can get advantage on an acrobatics check and then do something cool with your horse to perform for a crowd, or just add some flair and some taunting in the battlefield, or just have some fun with it. Elegant maneuvers, great on horseback. Be a trick rider. I think my favorite synergy, though, comes from the thief. They have their fast hands ability, which makes their cunning action very versatile for using objects as an action, and they can do sleight of hand checks to, let's say, steal things, and they can try to pick locks. Pick locks might not be as important, but picture you riding through, and it's like this Looney Tunes scene where like Roadrunner, let's say, because he's fast, rides by someone and they spin around, and then when they come to a stop. All their clothes are gone except for their heart's underwear. That's kind of what I picture. Your rogue can just like drive by, steal everything. Or they can use an object. You could do a drive-by alchemist fire or acid, or even a drive-by healing kit or healing potion, because you can do those as a bonus action as a thief. It's very cool. While maintaining your mobility, without getting caught in a bad spot. You can get in and out, do what you got to do. And like I mentioned earlier, if you're stealing things, your horse is going to be able to carry them, especially if you have like a bag of holding saddlebag. That just sounds cool. You basically become the Pony Express of D&D. So there you go. Mounts aren't just for lancing knights or arrow slinging rangers. Rogues can use mounts in many compelling ways. It can seem annoying to try to keep an animal companion alive and to upkeep it, give it a place to park, give it a place to drink and eat. But it's worth it. It's just a unique way to play. If the game's getting kind of stale to you, try building a character that's everything you already envisioned, and then throw in that they like to ride mounts for combat and for travel. It just mixes things up in a fun way. Let your DM know if you're not treating your mount as expendable. Like, give it names. Like, Opal wrote a whole article on our site, flutesloot.com, about mounts and like how to raise them and how to just do the role playing behind mounts, basically. So show your DM that you care. Give it a name, spend time with it. And if you have a hard time role playing with other people that you're playing with, maybe you can role play with this animal companion that you have in easy ways, because it's less verbal and more showing and describing what you do. Maybe that can help you warm up to role playing a little bit more. I'm eager to hear what you guys think about this concept. Have you tried mounts in D&D? Were you disappointed? Did you like it? Tell me about it. Do you have any other inspirations for classes and subclasses? Anything that can use mounts in a cool way? Let me know. Cast message on the comments below, and I look forward to talking to you guys. If you want to read more about mounts, go to flutesloot.com. We've got articles about this and many other things. Thanks, looters. Talk to you later.